Welcome back, everybody. Tucked inside the debt ceiling deal is a major new provision that impacts more than 40 million student loan borrowers. Repayments that had been paused after the pandemic will now be resumed and expected by August 29th. And the Senate on Thursday advancing a Republican bill that would overturn student loan cancellation plan, which gave up to $20,000 in federal student loan relief to borrowers who qualified. The president is expected to veto that. All of that as the Supreme Court is expected to rule on two cases involving Biden's student debt relief plan before the end of this month. Joining me now is Melissa Byrne, the founder of We the 45 Million, an advocacy group for student loan relief. Melissa, it's great to talk to you about this. Of course, there has been a lot of back and forth when it comes to student debt relief this past week. But I first kind of want to get your reaction to the provisions that were somewhat buried in the debt deal this week, and also the president, his administration saying no matter what, they were going to do this anyway.
Well, one, it was definitely a shock that they were in there. We definitely fought really hard to stop that from happening. My team held 2 sit-ins in Speaker McCarthy's office in D.C., calling him to stop his attack on student loan borrowers. I find it disgusting that the Speaker was 100% committed to hurting student loan borrowers and threaten default on our nation if there wasn't something about hurting student loan borrowers in this provision.
The president is expected, as I mentioned, to veto this current bill as well from Congress, scrapping his debt forgiveness plan. But what is your reaction to this on, as you said, and as we're seeing kind of this repeated assault on this legislation?
I mean, I think we have to think about this as real people that are impacted. It's over 40 million Americans. Of those 40 million Americans, it's about 320,000 veterans who are impacted. And borrowers are all across the country. Speaker McCarthy has close to 90,000 borrowers eligible for relief in his district in Central Valley, California. Brandon Williams from Syracuse, a Republican, he has over 120,000 borrowers. So this is an issue that impacts both the Democratic districts and Republican districts. And it is really disgusting that the Republican Party is moving heaven and hell to hurt their own constituents, to hurt Americans. And of course, all of this started when President Reagan began the efforts when he was governor of California to start defunding higher education, to start making higher education not free anymore. And it really just hurts everyday American. And that's why I know that I'll be fighting, and all the borrowers I know will be fighting, that we cannot have return to repayment until cancellation has been delivered.
So, Melissa, I want to read the quote that you gave to Roll Call, because I think it's a powerful one. You say this: people are experiencing extreme mental health stress because they're watching people play politics with their financial security. 20 million people with student loan debt live in Republican districts, and Republicans are hurting their own voters just to own the libs. You touched on this just now, but I'm wondering what you're specifically hearing from voters in these areas. What are they telling you about how they're dealing?
I mean, I've been hearing from borrowers the entire time that they don't know how they're going to handle having payments turned back on, especially the people who are promised full loan relief, the people that are struggling, who have about 20 grand of loan debt left and they had Pell Grants, or they have 10K and didn't have Pell Grants. You have 20 million people who are promised a zero balance. And they were on the way to delivering that until Republican attorney generals and dark money groups that fund Republicans decided to intervene in the court system. And it's just sad to think that it's about trying to score political wins instead of delivering for the American people. Because I wake up every day doing organizing, doing this work, because I want to make sure that my neighbors are safe and secure. I want to make sure I'm safe and secure. And we have just way too many Republicans in this country who think it's about me, me, me. Notice Kevin McCarthy and McHenry, neither of them demanded cut to the 529 program that shelters money that goes to mostly wealthy families to save for college. So they didn't bother to do any cuts for wealthy families to save for college, but they want working families, they want students and graduates who grew up poor and working class to shoulder all of this. They want people who maybe they didn't get to finish college and they have debt. Or you have working class parents who they couldn't afford to save money when their kids were going to college, so they had to take out Parent Plus loans. And they're not even eligible for some of the other programs that are going on. And this is just really about cruelty. And it's just really sad that it was hurt student loan borrowers or default our country, because that hostage taking is horrible. And I know that I'm asking the White House, and a lot of people are asking the White House to make sure that we do not have return to repayment until cancellation has been delivered.
Last question to you, Melissa, and then I'll let you go. What are your expectations when it comes to the two cases in the Supreme Court?
Elizabeth Pregler, the Solicitor General, did a phenomenal job arguing the case. And factually, none of the interveners have standing. So as long as justices follow facts and follow rule of law, they should find no standing. And then that same day, we should be able to start delivering relief and turn on that application.
We're certainly going to be watching that for a lot of voters out there that are concerned about the student debt relief program. Melissa Byrne for us. Thank you.